What Helena Blavatsky discovered about cats and their connection to other dimensions. You know, there's something extraordinary happening right now in your home, something most of us never fully notice. Your cat isn't just watching you, they're sensing something deeper, something beyond what our eyes can see. And what if I told you that one of history's most profound spiritual teachers discovered that cats might actually be guardians between worlds? Not in a frightening way, but in the most beautiful, protective sense you could imagine. If you enjoy meaningful stories and spiritual insights about cats, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. The ancient observers who see beyond. Have you ever watched your cat stare at an empty corner of the room with complete focus, their eyes fixed, pupils dilating, body perfectly still, as if they're witnessing something invisible to you? Most people dismiss this as simple animal behavior, but what if there's something more? Picture this moment with me. It's 3 a.m. The house is silent. And suddenly, your cat sits upright in bed, gazing intensely at the doorway where nothing appears to be. You feel it too. That subtle shift in the air, that inexplicable presence. Your cat doesn't seem afraid. They seem attentive, protective even. This isn't imagination. This is something humans have observed for thousands of years. And one remarkable woman spent her life trying to understand exactly what it meant. Her name was Helena Blavatsky. Born in 1831, Helena Petrovna Blavatsky became one of the most influential spiritual philosophers of the modern age. She founded the Theosophical Society in 1875, bringing together ancient Eastern wisdom and Western mysticism in ways that had never been done before. She traveled the world from Egypt to India, from Tibet to America, seeking to understand the invisible layers of reality that exist alongside our physical world. Blavatsky taught something profound, that reality isn't just what we see. She spoke of multiple planes of existence, the physical, the astral, the mental, the spiritual, all coexisting, all interconnected. And here's where it gets beautiful. She believed certain beings could perceive these dimensions more clearly than others. Among these beings, cats. Now, before you think this sounds too mystical, let's look at what humanity has always known about cats. In ancient Egypt, cats weren't just pets. They were sacred. The goddess Bastet, depicted with the head of a cat, was the divine protector of the home, the guardian against evil spirits and negative energies. Temples were built in her honor. Cats were mummified and mourned like family members. Why? Because the Egyptians believed cats could see what humans couldn't. In Buddhist monasteries across Asia, cats have long been meditation companions. Monks observed that cats possess a natural state of mindfulness, that quality of being completely present without judgment, without anxiety about past or future. They simply exist in the eternal now. Isn't that what we all seek through meditation? That pure presence? Shamanic traditions across cultures have recognized cats as spirit animals, beings who walk between the physical and spiritual worlds with ease, not because they're supernatural, but because they've never lost touch with their intuitive nature. Blavatsky studied all of this. She noticed a pattern. Across cultures, across centuries, across continents, cats were consistently recognized as guardians, as protectors, as beings with heightened sensitivity to what she called the astral plane. But what does that actually mean? Think of it this way. Imagine reality like an ocean. We humans swim on the surface, seeing only the waves and the sky. But beneath the surface, there are entire worlds, currents, creatures, depths we never see, but that profoundly affect the surface we inhabit. Blavatsky suggested that cats naturally perceive these deeper currents, not through magic, but through a sensitivity they've simply never lost. She described cats as natural guardians of energy, beings who could detect subtle vibrations in their environment, shifts in emotional atmospheres, presences that exist in frequencies beyond normal human perception. And here's what's remarkable. Modern science is beginning to validate aspects of this ancient wisdom. We now know that cats can hear frequencies up to 64,000 hertz, nearly 2 octaves higher than humans. They can see in ultraviolet light, detecting patterns invisible to our eyes. Their whiskers sense minute changes in air pressure and vibration. They are quite literally perceiving a different reality than we do. So when your cat stares at that empty corner, are they really seeing nothing? Or are they detecting something your senses simply can't register? I want you to think about something personal for a moment. Have you ever felt anxious, sad, or overwhelmed, and your cat suddenly appeared beside you? Not because you called them, not because it was feeding time, but because somehow they knew you needed them? This happens to people every single day. Please tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like your cat was protecting you from something you couldn't see? I read every single one, and I genuinely want to hear your story. Blavatsky would say this isn't coincidence. She taught that cats are drawn to energetic imbalances, that they instinctively move toward people and places that need harmonizing, not consciously, but as naturally as flowers turn toward the sun. Look at your cat right now, if they're nearby. Really look at them. Notice how they can be completely relaxed, yet completely aware simultaneously. Notice how they seem to know things before they happen. Notice how their presence alone can calm your racing thoughts. This is what Helena Blavatsky spent her life studying. The bridge between worlds, the guardians who walk it effortlessly. If they are guardians, what exactly are they protecting us from? Or perhaps more beautifully, what are they allowing to enter our lives? The space between seen and unseen. So we left with a question hanging in the air, didn't we? If cats are guardians, what are they actually protecting? But maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. Watch your cat for a moment. Right now, as you listen to this, they might be doing something curious. Perhaps they're playing with something you cannot see, batting at the air, chasing shadows that don't exist, running suddenly from one room to another with no apparent reason. We smile. We call it cute. We say they're being silly. But what if that play isn't solitary at all? Helena Blavatsky would tell you that what looks like empty space to us is actually teeming with life, with energy, with presence. She described reality as layered, like a beautiful, invisible fabric with multiple threads woven together. The physical world we touch and see is just one thread. But there are others: the astral plane, the mental realm, the spiritual dimension. And here's the extraordinary part. She believed cats naturally exist in multiple layers at once. Not because they're magical creatures from fairy tales, but because they've retained something we humans have largely forgotten: the ability to perceive without filtering, to sense without doubting, to experience reality in its fullness. Think about how a cat experiences the world. They don't analyze, they don't question what they're sensing. When they feel something, they simply respond. There's no voice in their head saying, "That's not real, that's impossible, I must be imagining things." This is what Blavatsky meant by dimensional awareness. Not that cats are supernatural, but that they're supremely natural, connected to aspects of existence that we've trained ourselves to ignore. Let me share something fascinating with you. Scientists have discovered that cats purr at frequencies between 25 and 150 hertz. These exact frequencies have been proven to promote healing in bones and tissues, reduce stress, and lower blood pressure. Veterinarians call it the healing frequency. Coincidence? Or is there something deeper happening? When your cat curls up on your chest and purrs, they're not just making a pleasant sound. They're literally vibrating at a frequency that heals. Blavatsky would say they're harmonizing your energy field, bringing you back into balance with the natural rhythms of existence. But let's go deeper into those mysterious behaviors we all witness. Why does your cat suddenly sprint across the house at midnight? Why do they stare at walls? Why do they refuse to enter certain rooms or insist on sleeping in specific spots? Blavatsky studied these patterns extensively. She interviewed people from cultures around the world, collecting stories that all pointed to the same truth. Cats respond to energies we cannot measure with our current instruments. In her writings, she described cats as liminal beings, creatures who exist at the threshold between worlds, not trapped between dimensions, but gracefully moving through them the way we might walk from one room to another. She wrote about visiting a monastery in Tibet, where the monks intentionally kept cats in meditation halls. When she asked why, a wise old monk told her, "The cats show us what we cannot yet see. When they become alert, we know the veil is thin. When they purr, we know the energy is harmonious. They are our teachers in presence." This isn't superstition. This is observation refined over thousands of years of spiritual practice. Have you noticed how your cat chooses where to rest? They'll avoid certain areas entirely while being drawn to others. They'll claim specific chairs, particular corners, chosen windowsills. Traditional wisdom says they're seeking comfort. But what if they're also seeking or creating energetic balance in your home? Ancient feng shui practitioners in China actually consulted the behavior of cats when arranging homes. Where the cat chose to sleep indicated harmonious energy. Where the cat avoided showed places that needed attention, cleansing, or rearrangement. Your cat isn't being picky. They're responding to information you can't consciously access. Now, I want to share something that happens to people all over the world, every single day. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're going through something difficult, a loss, a transition, a moment of deep uncertainty, and a cat appears in your life. Maybe a stray shows up at your door. Maybe you suddenly feel drawn to adopt. Maybe a neighbor's cat starts visiting you specifically. Is this random? Or is this what Blavatsky called spiritual synchronicity, the universe arranging connections that serve our highest growth? I've heard thousands of these stories. A woman whose cat appeared the week her mother passed away. A man who rescued a kitten the day before he received a devastating diagnosis. And that cat became his anchor through treatment. A child struggling with anxiety who found a stray that somehow knew exactly when the panic attacks were coming. These aren't coincidences. These are cats doing what they've always done, appearing when and where they're needed most. Blavatsky taught that the astral plane isn't some distant realm. It's here now, interpenetrating our physical reality. It's the dimension of emotion, of intuition, of those feelings you have, but can't quite explain. And cats, she believed, navigate this realm as naturally as we navigate a familiar room. When your cat stares at empty space, maybe they're watching energy patterns shift. When they suddenly groom themselves intensely, maybe they're clearing something they've absorbed from the environment. When they need your lap with their paws, maybe they're not just showing affection. Maybe they're doing something far more profound. Please, share your experience in the comments. Has your cat ever known something before you did? Have they ever reacted to something invisible? Have they ever appeared in your life at exactly the moment you needed them most? I promise you, I read every story, and your experience matters. Close your eyes for just a moment. Feel your cat's presence, even if they're in another room. That connection you sense, that invisible thread between you. Blavatsky would call that a dimensional bridge. Not metaphorical, actual. If cats truly walk between worlds, carrying messages in their purrs and protection in their presence, then every moment with them is an invitation. An invitation to perceive more, to feel more, to remember what we've forgotten. But here's what I keep wondering, and what I think you're wondering too. If they're bringing us messages, what exactly are they trying to tell us? The language beyond words. There's a moment that happens between a person and their cat that's almost impossible to describe. You're sitting quietly, maybe reading or just thinking, and your cat approaches. They don't meow. They don't demand anything. They simply settle beside you or on you, and suddenly everything feels different. Calmer, more centered, more real. What just happened in that moment? Helena Blavatsky spent years studying this exact phenomenon. She called it energetic resonance, the way two beings can harmonize without words, without effort, simply through presence. And she believed cats were masters of this ancient art. But let's start with something science can actually measure, because this is where it gets truly beautiful. Researchers studying animal behavior have discovered that cats are extraordinarily attuned to human emotional states. They can detect changes in our breathing patterns, our heart rate, even the subtle chemical changes in our scent when we're stressed or sad. They're reading us constantly, processing information we don't even know we're broadcasting. But they don't just observe, they respond. Studies show that when a person is anxious, their cat's behavior changes. The cat becomes calmer, more present, often moving closer to the person. It's as if they're offering their own steadiness to balance the human's turbulence. Blavatsky would say, this is exactly what's happening, an exchange of energy, a sharing of equilibrium. Think about your own cat. How many times have you been crying and they've appeared from nowhere? How many times have you been angry or overwhelmed and they've simply sat with you, purring, until something inside you settled? This isn't training. This isn't learned behavior. This is something far more profound. Blavatsky described it as the cat's spiritual mission. Not a mission they chose consciously, but one encoded in their very nature, to serve as stabilizers, as harmonizers, as living reminders of balance in a world that constantly pulls us off center. She wrote extensively about how every being has a role in what she called the universal equilibrium. Nothing exists without purpose. And the purpose of cats, she believed, was to anchor peaceful presence wherever they dwell. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds lovely, but how does that actually work? Let me tell you about a concept that connects Blavatsky's theosophy with modern psychology. Carl Jung, the famous psychiatrist who actually studied theosophical teachings, developed the idea of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that seem to occur with purpose rather than chance. And if you look at how cats enter people's lives, synchronicity appears everywhere. A woman struggling with depression suddenly finds a kitten in a parking lot, on the exact day she'd been contemplating giving up. A man who just lost his longtime cat swears he'll never get another, then a stray with the same markings appears at his door 3 days later. A family dealing with a sick child adopts a cat who refuses to leave that child's side, somehow knowing when seizures are coming before any medical device detects them. I want to hear your story. Was there something significant happening in your life when your cat found you? And please, be honest. Did they find you, or did you find them? Share in the comments, because I have a feeling your story will help someone else realize they're not alone in this experience. Blavatsky would say these aren't accidents. She taught that souls, yes, she believed animals have souls, are drawn together by spiritual purpose. Your cat didn't randomly end up in your life. There was a reason, a need, a matching of frequencies that brought you together. But here's where it gets even more interesting. In her travels through India and Tibet, Blavatsky observed something remarkable. Meditation masters, people who'd spent decades cultivating inner stillness, all had something in common with cats. They could sit in complete presence without anxiety, without their minds racing into past or future. They existed fully in the eternal now. The monks told her, "We spend years learning what the cat already knows. Your cat isn't worried about yesterday. They're not anxious about tomorrow. They're here, now, completely. And when you're with them, really with them, something remarkable happens. You become a little more present too. This is their gift, not mystical powers, not supernatural abilities, simply the profound teaching of presence. Watch your cat sleep. Notice that utter relaxation, that complete trust in the moment. They're not pretending. They're not trying. They simply are. And in their being, they invite you to remember how to be as well." Blavatsky called this the yoga of the cat, the natural meditation that requires no technique, no effort, only the willingness to exist fully in each moment. But there's something even deeper happening in your relationship with your cat. something about love without condition. Cats don't love you because of what you achieve. They don't judge your failures or celebrate your status. They don't care if you had a bad day at work or said something you regret. They simply love, if that's even the right word, your essential being. This kind of acceptance is what Blavatsky called divine love. Love that sees beyond the surface, beyond the ego, straight into the truth of who you are. And in receiving that love, even from a small furry creature, something in us heals. Every time your cat chooses your lap over anywhere else they could be, they're saying something, not in words, but in the universal language of presence. You are enough, right now, exactly as you are. How many humans in your life offer you that? This is why losing a cat hurts so deeply. It's not just losing a pet. It's losing a mirror that showed you your own worthiness, a companion who knew you without judgment, a teacher who reminded you daily how to simply be. But Blavatsky would remind us, energy doesn't disappear. Love doesn't end. The bond you formed exists beyond the physical plane she studied so devotedly. I need to pause here and ask you something from my heart. Look at your cat right now. Or if they've passed, think of them clearly. What is this being taught you about yourself? What has shifted in you because they existed in your life? Write it down in the comments. Not for me, though I'll read it. Write it for yourself. Because sometimes we need to name the gifts we've received before we can fully receive them. Your cat is more than a companion. They're a mirror, they're a message, they're a doorway. But a doorway to what? What is it that truly transforms in us when we allow ourselves to be fully seen, fully accepted, fully loved by these mysterious creatures? The gift you've always had. So here we are, we've journeyed through ancient wisdom, through mysterious behaviors, through synchronicities and silent messages. And maybe you're wondering, what does all of this actually mean for my life today? Right now, in this moment. Let me tell you what Helena Blavatsky ultimately discovered after all her travels, all her studies, all her exploration of hidden dimensions and spiritual planes. The truth was never far away. It was never in some distant realm. It was always right here, purring in her lap. Let's bring everything together. We learned that cats may be guardians, perceiving dimensions beyond our normal senses. We explored how they move between worlds with natural grace, responding to energies we've forgotten how to feel. We discovered their role as stabilizers, as mirrors, as teachers of presence and unconditional acceptance. But all of this points to one beautiful, simple truth. The other dimension isn't somewhere else. It's here, now. In the way your cat looks at you, in the vibration of their purr against your chest, in that inexplicable feeling of peace that settles over you when they choose to be near. Blavatsky spent her life teaching people to perceive beyond the physical. And do you know what she said was the fastest path to that expanded awareness? Not complex rituals, not years of study, but love. Pure, present, unconditional love. Your cat has been teaching you this all along. Every time they sit with you in silence, they're showing you meditation. Every time they respond to your emotions without words, they're demonstrating intuition. Every time they exist fully in the moment, they're offering you the secret to inner peace. The question is, are you paying attention? I want to share something practical with you now. Ways you can consciously deepen this connection. Ways you can learn from what your cat already knows. First, practice what I call mindful observation. Just once a day, stop whatever you're doing and really watch your cat. Not glancing, not distracted. Actually observe them for 2 full minutes. Notice how they move, how they breathe, how they settle into complete relaxation or spring into complete alertness. They don't do anything halfway. They're fully committed to each moment. Can you bring that quality into your own life? Second, try meditation with your cat. Sit quietly when they're near. Close your eyes. Focus on the sound of their purring if they're purring, or simply on their presence if they're silent. Let their natural state of calm become a guide for your own breathing, your own settling. Blavatsky taught that we can attune ourselves to higher vibrations by spending time with beings who naturally embody them. Your cat is a tuning fork for peace. Let yourself resonate with that frequency. Third, pay attention to synchronicity. When does your cat appear? When do they avoid you? When do they seem to be reacting to something you can't see? Don't dismiss these moments. Acknowledge them. Thank them for their awareness. You don't have to understand it completely to honor it. Blavatsky would tell you that recognition is the first step toward perception. The more you acknowledge these subtle moments, the more you'll begin to sense them yourself. And here's something powerful. Practice gratitude for the specific spiritual gifts your cat brings. Not just, I'm grateful for my cat, but specifically, I'm grateful for how my cat teaches me to be present. I'm grateful for how they comfort me without judgment. I'm grateful for how they remind me that love doesn't require words. Specificity deepens connection. Now, let's talk about Helena Blavatsky's legacy, because it matters to your life today more than you might realize. She didn't create a religion. She didn't demand that people believe specific doctrines. What she did was far more revolutionary. She reminded humanity that the sacred exists in the ordinary, that wisdom isn't locked away in temples or reserved for special people, that every being, every moment, every interaction can be a doorway to deeper truth. And she did this in 1875, when women weren't taken seriously in spiritual or intellectual circles. She did this despite ridicule, despite criticism, despite being called a fraud by people who couldn't understand what she was trying to share. She persisted because she knew something essential. The world desperately needed to remember that we're all connected. That separation is an illusion, that the divine isn't distant. It's here, in the smallest, most overlooked corners of our daily lives, like in the gentle weight of a cat curled on your chest. Blavatsky's gift wasn't proving that other dimensions exist. It was teaching us to experience them, and your cat is still teaching you that lesson every single day. So what is the real dimension we've been talking about all along? It's not a place, it's a state of being. It's the dimension of presence, of pure awareness, of love without condition. It's the space where you exist beyond your worries and your schedules and your endless mental chatter. It's where you're simply here, now, alive, connected. Your cat lives there permanently, and every interaction with them is an invitation to visit. Look at your cat right now. Really look at them. Not at a pet, not at an animal, but at a being who has chosen to share your life, who reads your energy, who offers their presence as a gift. That exchange right there, that's the connection to other dimensions. That feeling of being truly seen, truly accepted, truly accompanied. That's the astral plane made tangible. That peace that settles in when they purr, that's the spiritual dimension intersecting with your living room. It was never complicated. It was always this simple. This is the miracle. This is the message. This is what Helena Blavatsky spent her entire life trying to help people understand. You are not alone in this universe. You are surrounded by consciousness, by presence, by beings who exist on multiple levels at once. And one of them has chosen to curl up on your couch, to eat from your hand, to purr against your heart. That is sacred. That is profound. That is the proof you've been seeking that there's more to reality than what we see. The divine isn't somewhere else. It's here, now, in every small guardian who's chosen to walk beside you. So if you've enjoyed this journey today, if something here resonated with your own experience, I'd be deeply grateful if you'd subscribe to this channel. Not because I need numbers, but because I believe these stories matter. These connections matter. And the more we share them, the more we remember what Helena Blavatsky knew. We're all part of something infinitely larger and more beautiful than we usually allow ourselves to perceive. May every purr remind you. May every gentle gaze reconnect you. May every moment with your cat be exactly what it is, a doorway to wonder, an anchor to presence, a love that transcends all dimensions. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And most of all, thank you to the small, mysterious beings who teach us every day how to live.